The coding error which caused a world of pain and suddenly dragged Australians back into the 1980s. Who's to blame? Why were we left so vulnerable? And how do we stop it happening again? The frightening moment a teenager allegedly pulled out a sword before a man was stabbed to death. Scores of passengers trapped in a tram as powerful winds cause havoc across the nation's south and east. An amazing survival. 2 Aussies escape a chopper crash in Bali. And Joe Biden vows to stay in the presidential race as more senior members of his party say it's time to stand aside.
This is 10 News First with Chris Barr.
Australians are being warned to be vigilant as scammers try to take advantage of the worldwide tech crash which shut down airports, banks, shops and millions of organisations. Many are slowly getting their systems back up and running after the global meltdown. Cybersecurity company CrowdStrike has apologised for the blunder caused by a bug in a software update. But questions remain. How did a minor, routine action have such a catastrophic effect? And why did no one see it coming?
The day after the largest IT outage in history, things are slowly but surely returning to normal. Banking systems are back, supermarkets online, and flights are taking off. Were you worried that your flight would be cancelled?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going to happen until we got up here this morning.
Albeit there remains a few teething issues. Largely smooth movement at airports across the country today, a stark contrast from the chaos of last night.
It's a bit of a nightmare, really. I mean, what else can we do? I can't even get online to see if I can book another flight for tomorrow.
From Wodonga, so we've driven 3.5 hours just to find out that probably won't happen.
Terminals filled to the brim, lines stretching for miles in Sydney and Adelaide, a sea of stranded passengers in Melbourne. Jetstar customers among the hardest hit, with dozens of flights cancelled.
If your flight has been read out, we do ask you please leave the terminal.
Confusion reigning as staff tried their best to inform those frustrated of what they knew.
You know, we wanted to go see, of course, your beautiful, Barrier Reef, but I guess not.
Would have been nice to know a little bit earlier. We could have organised some things, but it is what it is. We'll make the best of what we can.
Well, the board up there says we're closed and all the rest are in green, so I don't know what that means.
The worst of it over, but there's fears the pain could continue. Some workers risk not getting paid if their employer or bank uses CrowdStrike.
There is a chance, and I would say that most businesses will absolutely do the right thing and ensure that those payments go in as soon as those systems are rebooted.
The Cybersecurity Minister fronting up today to reassure Australians.
This is not a cybersecurity event.
But a warning it could become one if we aren't vigilant, with reports scammers are targeting small businesses.
Are receiving emails from people who are pretending to be CrowdStrike or who are pretending to be Microsoft and are indicating that you need to put in bank details to get access to a reboot, that you need to pay money, that you need to put your personal details in.
Potentially more detrimental than the outage itself.
And that is the real concern here, is what does the aftermath look like?
The CEO of the company responsible for the outage issuing a public apology.
We're deeply sorry for the impact that we've caused to customers, to travellers, to anyone affected by this, including our companies.
The faulty update infected systems just after 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. CyberStrike said it was fixed within an hour and a half, but the breadth of people using the service meant the impact continued for much longer.
We're not going to relent until we get every customer back to where they were, and we continue to protect them and keep the bad guys out of their systems.
The global significance of the outage not lost on locals.
My family back home was telling me they couldn't take out money from the ATMs.
The event eliciting memories of a simpler time 25 years ago. The movie Time Bomb Y2K trending on streaming services. Sam Mills for 10 News First.
Let's go to reporter Sophie Jacobson. Sophie, how are the airports coping now?
Well, Chris, it's certainly looking much different here at Melbourne Airport to the chaos that unfolded last night. Many flights were cancelled and thousands of people were unable to check in, not only here at Melbourne Airport, but at airports across the country. Today, though, slowly systems came back. Airport staff were working throughout the night to return operations to normal. Looking around here, it definitely seems much quieter and things seem to be moving along much smoother. It still might be some time until things are fully back up and running and back to normal. The full extent of the damage and what the consequences might be are still unknown. The advice for those travelling to the airport is to check individual flight times as well as allow a little extra time for expected congestion at the terminals. Chris?
Sophie Jacobson there. Airports in Asia, Europe and the United States are slowly coming back online too and starting to clear the huge backlog triggered by the CrowdStrike outage. But it wasn't just travel chaos, it shut down some health services too, with most of England's doctors' surgeries unable to access patient records or process prescriptions.
The timing couldn't be worse. On the UK's busiest travel weekend of the year, airports across Europe were in meltdown and many passengers were going nowhere.
Well, apart from losing financially, hotel bookings, the time aspect, it's just a real hassle.
More than 5,000 flights were cancelled worldwide, with the US bearing the brunt of the disruption. American Airlines, Delta and United temporarily grounded planes because staff were unable to check in customers. Other carriers went back to pen and paper, issuing handwritten boarding passes.
I've been here at the airport since 4 o'clock this morning.
And what did they tell you?
At first it was supposed to be a 3-hour delay, turned into cancellation.
German Olympians trying to get to Paris were among the affected travellers at Berlin Airport, while passengers in Rome, Lisbon and Madrid faced lengthy delays.
The captain and I have decided that there's really no point in boarding the flight.
In the UK, the CrowdStrike glitch caused major headaches in the public health service. A majority of GP surgeries across England were impacted.
At the height of the outage, GPs couldn't access blood test results, review patient notes, or even issue prescriptions, meaning some people couldn't get their medication.
In New York, the bright lights of Times Square were dimmed slightly, with some screens showing black while others had the dreaded blue error message. As passengers wait patiently for the backlog to clear so they can get where they need to go, many can't help but wonder, could this have been prevented?
Maybe we need to have a backup plan. A backup plan as a nation.
John Paul Gonzo for 10 News First, London.
With most services back up and running, the question now turns to compensation for the Australian businesses and consumers hit the hardest. Chloe Burris joins us now from Parliament House. Chloe, do we know yet how much this has hurt the economy?
Well, it's too soon to put a dollar figure on it, but it's expected to be in the billions. And the businesses that were forced to shut, the casual workers losing out and the consumers left out of pocket are all wondering who will pay. We know that the airlines, the telcos, the supermarkets were all in emergency meetings last night and again this morning with the Australian government and CrowdStrike. I asked the Home Affairs Minister if compensation was brought up around the table, but she says we are still in a recovery phase and the focus is very much right now still getting back to business as usual.
There is no question that there is going to be an extensive conversation from here about the cost to companies, to consumers, about CrowdStrike and how it has handled this matter. Those questions are for another day.
So CrowdStrike is a US company and the minister did admit today that being so reliant on international systems does leave us vulnerable because even though this was a global outage, Australia was particularly hard hit because of our time zone. It struck during business hours.
Thanks, Chloe. Chloe Burris joining us there from Parliament House. A man in his 30s is dead and a teenage boy is under arrest after a stabbing in Sydney's Inner West. Security cameras captured the moment the teenager allegedly pulled a sword on his victim, who was later found dead in a driveway.
A midnight meet-up caught on camera. Two figures chat on the footpath before one pulls a sword and things turn violent. He chases his target down the street, where minutes later a man was found in a nearby driveway with a stab wound to his chest. Despite the efforts of police and paramedics, he died at the scene.
I'm extremely proud of their efforts and know they did everything they could to try and save this victim.
Detectives had only just started their investigation when a 15-year-old boy presented himself to police with his mum.
They provided police with certain information and as a result he was placed under arrest.
Today, Spring Street at Concord remained a crime scene as police seized dozens of bags of evidence from a nearby home.
The weapon that we will allege was used to stab the victim has been located and is seized.
A car believed to be linked to the victim was also searched and towed from the scene. This deadly act of violence, allegedly at the hands of a teenager, has left the community in shock.
Yeah, it's pretty traumatic, really.
I'm shocked and, yeah, it's quite scary.
It's unclear how the victim and his alleged young attacker knew each other, but police say this wasn't a random incident. They're now investigating why the pair met up on this street in the middle of the night.
Today, one life was lost and one life will be ruined. It is why we have laws against young people carrying knives on our streets.
The teenager is likely to be charged with murder and will face court tomorrow. Taylor Ryan for 10 News First.
More than 80 firefighters worked to contain a large factory blaze in Melbourne's west this morning. Crews arrived shortly before 7:30 to find a chemical factory ablaze after an automatic fire alarm activated and alerted emergency services. 5 people were evacuated from a neighbouring building before crews arrived.
At this stage, we're going to have fire investigators from Fire Rescue Victoria who are attending the scene, and they'll sift through the actual site to actually ascertain what the cause of the fire was. At this stage, we don't know.
It took more than 2 hours to bring the blaze under control. It's not being treated as suspicious. 2 Australians and 3 Indonesians have survived a helicopter crash in Bali South. The chopper came down in the village of Pekatu after it became entangled in a kite string. All passengers were evacuated safely and taken to hospital for further treatment. An investigation team is at the crash site. US President Joe Biden has vowed to return to the 2024 presidential campaign next week, despite growing pressure for him to withdraw. Democratic Congress members today urged him to do what's best for the nation. It follows a mammoth speech by Donald Trump, which set a record for a modern convention.
With no sign of the COVID recovering president, Vice President Kamala Harris visited an ice cream shop in Washington, D.C.
What will you say to Democratic voters?
As calls to freeze out Joe Biden grow, a campaign urging him to pass the torch.
Pass the torch, Joe.
More than 30 congressional Democrats have called for him to exit the race since his disastrous debate against Trump. The latest, Senator Sherrod Brown and Morgan McGarvey saying the stakes of this election are too high. From his isolation in Delaware, President Biden responded, "The stakes are high and the choice is clear. Together we will win. I look forward to getting back on the campaign trail next week to continue exposing the threat of Donald Trump."
I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do.
The balloon drop ended Trump's 90-minute Republican address, from praising Hannibal Lecter, a fictional serial killer, to promising medical miracles.
We're going to get to the cure for cancer and Alzheimer's and so many other things. We're so close to doing something great. I could stop wars with a telephone call.
Saying he will end the war in Ukraine, sharing a phone call with Volodymyr Zelensky where the Ukrainian president condemned the assassination attempt on Trump, wishing him strength and safety. Voters still trying to shake this moment from their minds.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
It won't be hard to remember the 5th of November. Plenty more to unfold before voters head to the polls. Sarah Navin for 10 News First.
Still to come, a woman fighting for life after a hit run. We're live to Brisbane for the latest details on the hunt for the driver. Also, widespread wind warnings across several states as powerful gusts topple trees and cause transport mayhem. The state that young people are leaving in droves and where they're choosing to live instead. And love is in the air as Paris prepares to put on a show for the world.
Want to start your week with a laugh?
What could go wrong?
Well, we're dealing them out Monday. Who'll have the last laugh on Deal or No Deal Celebrity Special?
We've got a big budget here. Maybe they can get you a milk crate.
Ursula, Lloyd and Bron crank up the comedy on Have You Been Paying Attention?
I do not know what just happened then.
Freaky, freaky stuff.
Then have a giggle with some ghosts. Monday's a big deal on 10 and 10 Play.
The ultimate performance of the ultimate title.
Oh no.
Hey,
Hey.
is that the McSmart meal from Macca's?
Yeah, 2 burgers, small fries and drink for $6.95.
Smart.
Welcome spring with Beacon's latest collection of lights and fans, all now on sale at 30% off your second. Experience timeless style in your home and get 30% off your second. Sale on now.
Make your dollar go further with these deals from IGA. Like Kirk's 10-pack selected varieties, $7 each, better than half price. And deli pork leg roast with crackle, just $20 per kilo. Mega dollar deals this week at IGA. Right now at Amart, save up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, get free local delivery and removal of your old mattress when spending $9.99 or more on a new one. Hurry, this in-store only offer won't last long at Amart.
Cadbury celebrates volunteers. Give a cheer to a volunteer today.
Life's messy. For a superior washable finish, choose Dulux Wash and Wear. Worth doing, worth Dulux.
Oh, hey, is that the McSmart meal from Macca's?
Yeah. 2 burgers, small fries and drink for $6.95.
Smart.
It's a Crocodile Rock Sunday. Robert Irwin guest hosts the project and catches up with Bindi.
I reckon I can make that work.
Followed by Rocket Man, Sunday from 6:30 on 10 and 10 Play.
A Queensland woman is continuing her fight for life in hospital more than 24 hours after she was run down while walking on a footpath south of Brisbane. Matt Johnston joins us now. Matt, the four-wheel drive involved left the scene.
Yeah, it certainly did, Chris, but not before causing some serious injuries to this young woman. We understand she's aged in her early 20s. She was walking along Alamanda Street in Daisy Hill in Logan just before 9 a.m. yesterday. She was walking on the footpath when she was hit by this car, and police believe the SUV had mounted the footpath behind her. The woman never saw it coming and she was knocked unconscious immediately. Tonight, she is still in a critical condition in hospital. People living on that street, they told me that they saw a grey silver Prado with a snorkel and a nudge bar fleeing the scene with damage to its front left side without stopping to help. Take a listen to what police had to say.
It lacks a lot of empathy, compassion, and it's left that young lady in a very serious situation.
Wow, that's pretty horrific. I hope she's okay. I hope she's all good.
Now, it has been more than 24 hours since this crash happened, and in that time, that Prado has not been seen. Police believe a woman was behind the wheel, but the car fled so quickly, no one was able to take down a licence plate or anything super specific about this car. Chris, anyone in the area who sees anything suspicious is always urged to contact police.
Thanks, Matt. Matt Johnston joining us live from Brisbane. Police have evacuated more than 60 people from Sydney's Inner West Light Rail after strong winds brought down a tree and live wires on a tram. The chilly blast is being felt across Australia's southeast, with emergency services involved in hundreds of call-outs in Victoria and in South Australia.
Trees torn from the ground, power lines down and buildings damaged, the result of a catastrophic cold front sweeping South Australia.
This system here is probably the worst we've seen for this season so far. Cold fronts after this don't look anywhere near as intense.
The state's emergency service receiving more than 450 calls before midday, with winds reaching 110 kilometres an hour.
Although we have seen some significant roof damage to a few buildings, but predominantly trees down. Quite a lot of trees on cars, but thankfully no injuries.
Power outages starting yesterday morning, also plunging 45,000 people into darkness.
If you do see a downed power line, please assume that it's live, keep 10 metres clear.
Already easing, meteorologists say the wild weather is travelling east, with damaging winds expected through Victoria and New South Wales. Sydney feeling the wrath after a tree hit power lines above an Inner West Light Rail tram. 67 people trapped inside the carriage for more than an hour.
We're all safe and sound, everyone's fine, no one was hurt. I was on my phone, we were just sort of sitting there. It was really quite relaxed.
Wildlife also caught up in the chill in Canberra's Corrin Forest, while those on Mount Buller welcomed the blizzard conditions with more than 25 centimetres of snow, making for a perfect day on the slopes.
The weather's great today.
Brianna Boylan for 10 News First.
And now for more on the weather, Paris Martin joins us. And Paris, are there wind warnings in place tonight?
There sure are, Chris. They have been cancelled in South Australia, but they do remain in place, those severe wind warnings for parts of New South Wales and Victoria. As for how significant those winds were throughout the day, well, Adelaide Airport saw up to 90 km/h winds early this morning. The good news is it was before the flight curfew lifted, because I certainly would not have been enjoying that turbulence. As for the winds on Australia's east coast, well, Sydney Harbour saw winds up to 80 km/h. If I take you over to the satellite, we do have areas of cloud covering most of the country's south. There's also some areas of low cloud about the coastal areas and the Bight as well. But then north of New South Wales for Queensland, also the Northern Territory and northern parts of WA, it is looking mostly clear. Now, it was a cold front, so this light blue spiky line that belted New South Wales today. We do have those red arrows indicating those strong winds, but otherwise there is lots of high pressure to go around through the middle of the country. As for where we saw the rainfall, Adelaide's southern suburbs, also the hills, Victoria saw parts as well, and also through the southern parts of New South Wales. And taking a look at some of the temperatures, Brisbane got up to 23, Sydney 17, Melbourne a top of 12 degrees, Adelaide here got up to 15. But Chris, I'll be back with more weather at 5 to 6.
See you then. Thanks, Paris. Up next, why a legal ruling by the UN has been described as a watershed moment by Palestine. Also, a national curfew and plans to bring in the army to tackle civil unrest in Bangladesh. Hundreds of mourners gather to farewell the firefighters shot and killed at last weekend's Trump rally. And escaping the rat race, why young people are leaving one state in droves.
Bad dogs of Australia, beware. The dog father is back.
No behaviour is too big or too small. If a dog needs help, I'll be there.
She starts with this little karate move.
They terrorise any dog that comes to the park. Guys, stop.
You sit on the loo to get a bit of respite from the dog. Pretty much. I've seen it all now.
New dogs behaving very badly. Starts 7:30 Tuesday.
No. Are the rumours true? Is that the new steakhouse stack?
Come on, it's time for a change. You reckon? Yeah. I thought mine looked good.
I did it. It never looked back.
Compare the pair. Same age, same income, same starting balance. Whether Mike switched to an industry super fund 5, 10 or 15 years ago, he's been better off.
How'd you decide? I compared the pair. Come on, guys.
proud to be Australia's fresh food partner.
Welcome to UTV. Immerse yourself in the very best of retail, travel, fashion, cooking, DIY and lifestyle. It's shopping made easy and exciting. UTV is all about you.
As we get older, it's vital we keep eating well to live well. That's why Light and Easy introduced My Choice, a delicious range of smaller, protein-packed dinners, soups and desserts. And they're developed specifically to meet the nutritional needs of older Australians. And if you're on a home care package, your funding could cover 70% of the cost.
Because it's subsidised by the home care package, that makes it very economical for us.
Call Light and Easy today on 13 15 12.
We have a competition every week to see who's helped the customers save the most.
$2.74. Lunch on you guys again.
Awesome service is what U-shaped insurance is all about. UE, you insured.
Get into the Good Guys for a massive TV sale. Get this 98-inch Samsung TV for $5,995. $1,000 off this 83-inch LG TV. $200 off this 75-inch TCL TV. Plus $100 off this JBL soundbar. Pay less every day at the Good Guys.
This is Australia. This is Australia.
Colorbond, made by Australia.
That's the sound of you winning. Because while watching your team pick up their third consecutive loss, you also managed to pick up pizza. Smash it. DoorDash it.
Whoa. $1 million is being held at the Savings Bank of Ballarat. Break into the bank and steal the money. If you can evade capture, the money is yours to keep. Woo, life-changing.
The United Nations top court has ruled Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories illegal. The International Court of Justice has assessed the occupation of areas since 1967. It's called for the evacuation of all settlers from occupied Palestinian territories. The Palestinian Foreign Minister says it's a watershed moment for justice and international law. But Israel's Prime Minister says the decision is false because Jewish people can't be considered occupiers in their historic homeland. Russia has convicted a US reporter of espionage, sentencing him to 16 years in prison. 32-year-old Evan Gershkovich was arrested in March last year. Authorities claimed he was gathering secret information for the United States about tanks being used in the war against Ukraine. The trial has been declared a sham by his employer, the Wall Street Journal, which denies the allegations. And the White House has chimed in, saying journalism is not a crime. Gershkovich has already spent almost 500 days in prison. A nationwide curfew has been introduced in Bangladesh following student riots that have killed up to 100 people. The military has been deployed to manage the rioters who stormed a prison, set fire to a TV station and torched vehicles in the streets. The student protesters are demanding an end to a rule that reserves 30% of government jobs for the families of veterans. In Bangladesh, more than 32 million young people are unemployed. The former fire chief who was shot and killed at the Trump rally a week ago has been honoured in Pennsylvania. Corey Comperatore's casket was carried on a fire truck during the funeral procession led by dozens of motorcycles and emergency crews. The 50-year-old had once served as the head of the Buffalo Volunteer Fire Department. He was in the line of fire when Donald Trump was targeted by a would-be assassin last weekend. Most Australians are feeling the cost of living pinch, but in New South Wales, it's seeing residents packing their bags and leaving the state. And new data shows where they're choosing to live instead.
Residents in New South Wales are leaving in droves. For Dana Fuller, buying a home in Sydney is too expensive. She's been feeling the pinch as the cost of living and housing crisis worsens.
Looking for a simple, just a one-bedroom apartment, it was just completely out of my budget. The prices that they were going for, and it was impossible for me to save that much money.
So Dana packed up her things and will be relocating south of the border to Melbourne, where house prices are seen as more affordable.
And it's quite literally half the price of what it would have cost me to live in Sydney.
According to figures from the last financial year, more than 34,000 people from several local government areas, including Parramatta and Canterbury Bankstown, packed up their bags, moving interstate or elsewhere in New South Wales. Sydney-siders are opting to move to Queensland and Victoria as their go-to destinations.
You've always seen in times past when house prices in Sydney take a jump, fewer and fewer people can afford it, or older people who do own take advantage, they sell, they cash in and they go. Housing in Sydney is a misery machine.
Since the 1980s, New South Wales has seen a steady decline in population. Despite multiple attempts, nothing seems to be able to stem that flow. Economist Chris Richardson believes there's no easy solution.
There is no magic wand. It's taken decades of dumb to get us here. The parents and grandparents of the young people who are forced to leave because they can't afford are the same people saying no to development next door to them. That has to change.
Daniel Doody for 10 News First.
Still to come, the latest from Team Australia in Paris as the City of Light prepares for an unprecedented Olympic opening ceremony on the River Seine. And as Queensland finally got a grip on youth crime, the latest stats are in.
Break the tank.
Break the tank.
Well, break the bank.
Yes, banker.
The first ever second offer.
My goodness.
Monday on Deal or No Deal.
You know what's better than a Big Four bank?
A bank that's bigger. For me.
Bigger. For what matters most. 2.5 million Aussies know that Bendigo Bank is bigger for them. And we're bigger for you.
Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Get more value and more choice with Domino's $7 value range. Choose from delicious value pizzas, mouth-watering melts, and our new value box for just $7 each every day. More value from Domino's.
Fresh fuel's the best in all of us. And right now, enjoy great weekly specials on midweek meals, like 10% off all Woolworths Australian beef mince delivered right to your door. That's today's fresh food, people.
From nature to you, introducing Botanica's first aerosol-free automatic spray, with fragrances infused with responsibly sourced natural ingredients to keep your home fresh 24/7. Botanica, inspired by nature.
Welcome spring with Beacon's latest collection of lights and fans, all now on sale at 30% off your second. Experience timeless style in your home and get 30% off your second. Sale on now.
Celebrate 60 years of The Australian, 60 years of thought-provoking journalism. Join the contest of ideas and enjoy the first 60 days of digital access for just $1. Subscribe today at theaustralian.com.au.
If you've got the lunchies, try a great value combo at Coles Express and Ready Express, like a 4 and 20 traveller pie or king-size sausage roll, plus a Red Bull 250ml for just $6. Coles Express and Ready Express, it's the good lunch run.
Even on the busiest of days, pain can get in the way. Choose Nurofen Advanced Liquid Capsules to unleash the speed of liquid, relieving headaches fast, because every minute matters.
Schwarzkopf Brilliance. Bold, brilliantly vibrant colours. With up to 10 weeks colour intensity. Take your colour to new heights. With Brilliance. Crafted by Schwarzkopf.
Get more big brands for less this week at Big W.
And have combined the data into this financial reporting tool, allowing us to show the importance of not only great financial results, but also how...
Scoring front row seats on the download? That's pretty good. But TPG's price beat guarantee on high-speed NBN is even better. That's right, we'll beat any eligible provider's high-speed NBN price over the first year. TPG.
I never thought I'd need a personal injury lawyer.
Then again, I never thought I'd be injured in a car accident.
But I knew I had to protect what mattered.
Search Shine Lawyers to claim what's rightfully yours. Or call 13 11 99 and right wrong.
Sunday, it's an Irwin takeover. Robert joins us as special guest co-host, plus Bindi reveals her plans for the future. The Sunday Project, 6:30.
Making headlines this Saturday, the world has switched back on after the CrowdStrike outage sent us back in time. But it's prompted a warning about scammers who are taking advantage of the situation. Security cameras capture the moment a teenager allegedly pulls out a sword before a man was stabbed to death in Sydney. And from his sickbed, US President Joe Biden has vowed to return to the election campaign next week as pressure mounts for him to stand aside. The New South Wales Police Raptor Squad has charged 10 people after finding drugs, cash and weapons in homes across the state. Officers seized more than 14 kilograms of cannabis and 244 kilograms of methamphetamine, along with 14 vials of steroids and $140,000 in cash during the week-long blitz. More than 5,000 vapes and 74 prohibited weapons were also taken for forensic examination. More arrests are expected. Queensland State Government has claimed a win in its fight against youth crime. The independent report has found 73% of the state's worst juvenile criminals reduced their offending after dealing with a specialist co-responder task force.
Where these repeat offenders may, on average, have offended 25 times in a month, that has been reduced to 7 times.
To try and cherry pick a certain number of statistics, when the government has all of the figures that show the crisis keeps getting worse when it comes to reoffending and victim numbers, is deeply disappointing.
The program is facing problems on the Gold Coast, with some offenders opting to hide across the border. Australia's Olympic team has held its first Paris news conference as they settle into the athletes' village ahead of the Games. 119 athletes will get to check into some of the Olympic sites from tonight for tennis, football, archery and surfing. Hockey stars have already tested out the official pitch and training is underway.
Pretty exciting for the girls. We got a few happy snaps at the end of training in front of the Olympic rings on the turf. So I think by and large it was a really, great hit out for the first one.
The athletes are living next door to Oceania countries in the village and say they're enjoying constant serenading by Fiji's Rugby Sevens team. And with a week until the Games get underway in the City of Light, organisers say ticketing was unaffected by the global tech outage, keeping the countdown to day one largely smooth sailing. We can now give you a sneak peek of the joyful and daring opening ceremony, a floating parade through the heart of Paris.
The City of Love is well and truly feeling it, and Olympic bosses are set to dial up the romance with what they've dubbed a dreamy opening ceremony.
It's the first time that we have an opening ceremony into the centre of Paris with hundreds of thousands of people attending, for some of them for free.
And for the first time, it's on the water. Dozens of boats laden with athletes and artists celebrating, along with 300,000 front row spectators lining the River Seine.
We'll highlight our shared humanity, this great us that we are, that is to say, us here in Paris, us in France, us in Europe, but also us in the world.
The Olympic cauldron is still under wraps, so too how it will be lit. They're ready for any weather, and no global outage could spoil this vibe.
The city's crowded, but it's really good.
Our Aussie athletes are all on track. Unlike others, none of their Olympic accreditations, flights or gear were affected. Paris 2024 officials successfully switched to an IT backup system. Another hurdle jumped.
As the big attractions are bolstered by the Olympics, the population of Paris will swell by 15 million tourists. Today on the ground, few were impacted by the outage.
No, we came in by plane today from Hamburg, Germany, and no problem.
It's been pretty chill so far.
As the sun sets, it's one less sleep night till the Games begin. Ali Donaldson for 10 News First, Paris.
Time for sport now with Scott Mackinnon and Scotty. The Pies are under the pump against Hawthorn.
Massively, yeah. It's a huge game for them if they want to play finals football. They're looking to snap a 3-game losing streak in their battle with the high-flying Hawks. We'll bring you the early action next. Also tonight, Toby Green turns it on with a couple of crazy goals as the Giants make it 3 wins on the trot. And why the British Open leader was caught swearing on camera while Aussie Jason Day quietly climbed his way up the leaderboard.
This winter, Paramount Plus has your Euro football fix. On July 28, Chelsea face Scottish giants Celtic and Manchester City turn up the heat against AC Milan. The Winter Festival of Football continues July 28, only on Paramount Plus.
There are vitamin C serums, and then there's the world's #1 Garnier Vitamin C Serum. A high concentration of actives to reduce dark spots by 43% and dramatically brighten your skin. Glow up with the world's #1 Vitamin C Serum by Garnier, naturally.
Whatever you're up to, now's good for a deliciously creamy and frothy Nescafe cappuccino. Nescafe. Make your world.
No. Are the rumours true? Is that the new steakhouse stack?
It's JB Hi-Fi's big screen sale with crazy deals on LG TVs. Like this huge 86-inch crunch to under $2,000. The 65-inch at $11.95. And a whopping $800 off this 55-inch. Seen it cheaper? Ask for a JB deal. JB, you've done it again.
Good health is
Chicken salad, thanks.
contagious.
Make it 2. 3, please.
Yep. We're wired to pick up all the best bits from one another. And at Bupa, we're helping our almost 4 million members live healthier. Because every time they do, someone else will too. Join Bupa Health Insurance and feel good health catch on.
The King Steel frame lets you arrange and rearrange to suit your lifestyle. So why buy ordinary furniture when you can come home to King? Hurry, final days.
Can we keep it?
The all-new Mitsubishi Triton is here.
Nothing can frighten a Triton. No. Are the rumours true? Is that the new steakhouse stack?
Instead of using Isolect, Susan has spent so long comparing energy providers by herself, she's missed her holiday, has over 1 million unread texts, and has become a myth.
Great conditions for a sighting today, folks. What we in the beers like to call Susan spotting weather. You might get lucky too, so keep those eyes peeled.
With Isolect, you can quickly compare energy providers and easily switch, saving you effort and endless time.
Of course, no one's actually seen her in some time.
Susan.
The epic life story of Elton John.
Maybe I should have tried to be more ordinary.
You were never ordinary. Rocket Man, Sunday on 10 and 10 Play.
Well, it's been billed as a mini elimination final in July, and Hawthorn has taken an early upper hand against arch-rival Collingwood. Premiership magpie Jack Ginnivan received some close attention from his former teammates. One incident which could land Braden Maynard in strife with the match review panel. It was the Hawks, though, who struck the more significant first-half blows.
What's he got for us, Wizard? He's got that!
Nearing half-time in wet and wild conditions, the Hawks lead by 34 points. And the Giants have reminded the competition they remain a serious finals threat, inflicting the Gold Coast 16th straight loss on the road. Toby Green nailed a goal of the year contender, while Ben King had a shocker.
It was a sign of things to come in the opener.
That hit the ankle. Nearly hit his left foot.
Wild wind caused havoc as the Suns were looking to break a run of 15 straight road losses.
Here's the milestone man in game 100, and that hurts. First inside 50, first goal of the day.
Jesse Hogan's All-Australian form continued and he was stalking the Coleman medal lead.
And again, strikes that beautifully. He's in good touch, Jesse.
The Giants led by 3 goals but lost Isaac Cumming to a hamstring. The game looked like being in the balance at the main break.
It gets to the back to Lukosius, cleverly on the outside of the boot, and now they start getting some reward for effort.
Before Toby Green did what Toby Green does.
Green had a little fumble, might go back again. Oh, Toby again! That's party time at NG.
Again on the road, Gold Coast fell away.
About time they grew up.
Toby Bedford was still tackling, but somewhat nervously. Hogan finished with 4 to draw level with Charlie Curnow on 49 goals for the season.
And here he is again.
You get your reward, don't you?
GWS make it 13 wins from its last 14 against the Suns.
And there is a tsunami warning that is blasting loud and clear.
Adrian Franklin for 10 News First.
West Coast Eagle Liam Ryan could be in trouble with the MRO after this head-high hip and shoulder flattens St Kilda's Liam Stocker.
Here's the hit on Stocker. Just coming through there, Ryan. Oh, yeah, Ryan comes through with the hip and shoulder.
The Saints defender cleared to play on after a concussion test. Eagles star Harley Reid copping some close attention. Liam Henry subbed out with a knee injury in the third term, while Tim Membry booted 5 in the 72-point win to celebrate Bradley Hill's 250th. Essendon could fall outside the top 8 by the end of the round after Adelaide's Ben Keys stunned with 5 goals in their thrilling 2-point win. But he could be in trouble for this tackle on Jai Caldwell. Both coaches remain confused with how the tackle is being adjudicated.
Who knows? Who could tell you at the moment?
But it was a confusing week. We educated one way and then we had to come back and do a complete flip on that and talk now about how are we going to go about it.
Yeah, Bomber Nate Caddy has no case to answer after this awkward bump, while Adelaide's Nick Murray was cleared of a serious knee injury after just returning from an ACL. Well, the Rabbitohs ran in 7 tries against the Tigers to keep their top 8 aspirations intact, but they didn't have it all their own way. The cellar dwellers putting up a fight after last weekend's awful display.
He's having an afternoon to remember.
Cody Walker on report for trying to tame West Cub. Richie Kenner taken out after this blow. Tane Milne.
He kicked the one from the field goal, and from the sideline over here, and I was like, he's a goal kicker now.
Last night, the Warriors rallied from 14-0 down against the Raiders, but their fight back fell 2 points shy. The key...
Goal kicking is not the thing that defined us tonight. We've got to start better. 14-0's not good enough, and we're just chasing the game for the rest of it.
The Wallabies burst out of the blocks against Georgia in Sydney, scoring 3 tries in the opening 20 minutes. The momentum, it took a huge swing when Filippo Daugunu was given a 20-minute red card under the new experimental laws, and the visitors made them pay, scoring 2 incredible tries to close the margin to just 2 points.
Brave with a transfer. The kick is good from Tapu Sante. So's the chase! Tapu Sante! They take it 110!
The Aussies, though, wouldn't be embarrassed, winning it 40-29 to make it 3 from 3 under the new coach, Joe Schmidt. Well, Jason Day has surged into the top 10 at the British Open as some of the sport's biggest names miss the cut. Irishman Shane Lowry takes a 2-stroke lead into moving day with Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy and 2022 champion Cameron Smith all on their way out of Royal Troon.
Shane Lowry is no stranger to the top of the British Open leaderboard. His job now is to once again stay there.
Oh, Shane. Look at this, just playing proper golf. Shane Lowry is.
The 2019 champion bookended a 2-under-par round with birdies and nailed 3 others in between, but dropped 2 shots and numerous profanities on the 11th, the latter aimed at a cameraman.
As it was over the ball, I could just see you put the camera. Just get back there. Push.
Round 1 leader Daniel Brown, on debut at a major, sits 2 off the pace in second spot after an up-and-down 1-over-par round. Justin Rose shares second spot, capping his 3-under-par round with this bomb on 18.
Oh, he can! What a day!
Aussie Jason Day sits tied for 7th after a bogey-free 3-under-par round.
This for number 3.
Oh, brilliant.
The news not so good for 2022 champion Cameron Smith, who finished his tournament 12 over par.
That is no good at all. That's the story of his week.
Tiger Woods was even worse. He finished 14 over par after consecutive horror shows.
Oh dear, Tiger.
Oh, you spend the days in the rough here at Troon. You'll be punished.
Roger Aldridge for 10 News First.
A scare for the Boomers just a week out from their Olympic opener, with Dante Exum hurting his neck in a warm-up game against Puerto Rico. Exum was forced from the court, but trainers say the injury shouldn't impact his Olympic campaign. Josh Giddey, he lit it up with 19 points as the Aussies got home by 15 in the end.
Giddey just unbelievable.
Giddey out. They'll play a final warm-up against host nation France tomorrow.
Back to Giddey.
And Chinese driver Zhou Guanyu lost control and almost took out Sergio Perez during practice for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc also came to grief on the same corner, but failed to keep his Ferrari out of the barriers.
Oh, he special well, rear left.
Yeah, touched, a little harder than touched, I would definitely say there.
Yeah, Lando Norris was fastest ahead of Max Verstappen, with Dan Ricciardo an encouraging 8th, and Oscar Piastri, he was down in 13th. A bit more than touching the wall there. If I did that to my car, right off, but they can fix them pretty quick. Oscar Piastri, 13th. He had a problem with his floor. He's hoping tonight he'll be there in qualifying, hopefully pushing for pole.
Because he's been doing really well lately.
And Lando's fastest, so, you know, those McLarens are going really well, Barthy.
Max won't be very happy. Thanks, Scotty. Coming up next, Paris Martin's back with all your Sunday weather details.
Deal or No Deal has reached celebrity status. And now every star in town wants to play.
Yes! Yes! You got a big budget here, maybe they can get you a milk crate. That would be good.
Yeah.
Deal's primetime celebrity specials.
Welcome to a real game show. 250 grand.
That's a lot of money.
Do they do that on Hard Quiz?
No, they just pay me that to host it.
Deal Celebrity Specials starts 7:30 Monday on 10 and 10 Play.
When things collide, they make noise. Real noise. Noise loud enough to turn Tuesday into Taco Tuesday. Old El Paso, make some noise.
We've just made a Domino's classic even more tasty. Introducing our new and improved oven-baked cheesy garlic bread. Crispier outside, fluffier inside, and now loaded with tastier, stretchier mozzarella. Get 2 from just $10 at Domino's.
UniSuper makes it easier for all Australians to aim higher. With more satisfied members and our top-rated app, shaping your future is simple. Look forward, think great with UniSuper.
There's a lie, a certain kind of light that always shines on me. There's a way everybody said to do each and every little thing. Oh, you must know what it's like, baby. You must know what it's like to love somebody, the way I love you.
Bedshed are taking 20 to 50% off everything. Create your ideal bedroom with furniture you love and a perfect mattress for less. Everything's on sale at Bedshed. No one's better in the bedroom.
Lucky you're with Amy.
Warm up this winter with great weekly specials across the store. Like 4 and 20 Angus Aussie beef pies, 700-gram 4-pack, now just $7.20 each. Save $4.80. That's today's fresh food people.
Install 3P Solar's massive 6.6 kilowatt premium home system discounted to a new low $41.91. Potentially just an incredible $13.91 out of pocket after Vic government rebate and loan.
Or 1300 37 36 37.
You had the key. You had the key. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Hello again. For those in the southern states that have been hit with wild winds today, I do have some good news for you. Things are set to settle a bit tomorrow. We have seen some incredible wind speeds through the country south. Adelaide Airport, nearly 90 km/h winds early this morning. Sydney Harbour up to 80 km/h. On the satellite, we do have areas of cloud covering the south of the country. It is thickening over the Great Dividing Range. There's a bit of low cloud about the Bight as well, but as you can see, Queensland, Northern Territory, Northern WA, they're all looking fairly clear. On the synoptic chart, the strong winds that impacted New South Wales today, they will continue on their way, leaving things to settle. Then we do have these areas of high pressure through the country's middle. So in the way of rainfall tomorrow, the country's north and central areas are keeping mostly dry thanks to that high pressure. We will get patches of showers about the south of the country though. Taking a closer look at Queensland, it is looking mostly sunny across the state. We do have possible morning fog in the southeastern interior though. And in Brisbane this week, we're looking at mostly sunny skies. It is turning partly cloudy around the midweek, but otherwise it's looking fairly nice. Temperatures around the mid-20s. In New South Wales tomorrow, it's looking mostly sunny across the state. We do have some showers about southern and central ranges, also the adjacent western slopes. And it is looking like a windy morning through Sydney and the Illawarra. In Sydney, those winds could get up to 45 km/h, but as I said, those winds will be easing around midday, so not sticking around too long. A top of 19, then a tops of 20 for Monday and Tuesday. In Victoria tomorrow, we're looking at mostly cloudy conditions with scattered showers on and south of the ranges, isolated showers developing north of the ranges during the afternoon. In Melbourne, we've got showers developing tomorrow, then it is looking like a showery Monday as well with that top of 17 degrees, but clearing up on Tuesday and Wednesday. In Tasmania tomorrow, showers developing in the west during the morning, fine elsewhere up until we get some light showers developing in the afternoon. And in Hobart, we have a shower or two developing tomorrow. Most days this week, it is looking showery. In South Australia, we do have showers about the Eyre Peninsula, Adelaide, also the lower southeast, but elsewhere it is looking partly cloudy. Port Lincoln there, the top of 18. And in Adelaide, we do have showers tomorrow, but then clearing up on Monday to kick off the working week. A top of 16 tomorrow, then 17 degrees on Monday. So, Chris, we do have some showers, stronger winds, but overall definitely much calmer than today.
Sounding better. Thanks, Paris. And that is 10 News First this Saturday. I'm Chris Bath. Thanks for your company. See you at the same time tomorrow. Have a great night.
Take me back to the sweet times, the hot nights. Everything is gonna be alright.